Intercession is the act of praying for or to God for the needs, well-being, or benefit of another, or the benefit of a group. 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 1. He said, I exhort therefore that first of all supplication, prayer, intercession, giving of thanks be made for all men. James 5 verse 16. He said, confess your fault one to another and pray for what? Pray one for another that ye may be healed. You know, the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man does what? Availeth much. So intercession is the act of praying to God for the needs and the well-being or the benefit of another person or a group of people. So God wants you to do what? To pray for one another. God wants you to pray for a group of people. Yes, the group could be a church. The group could be that organization. God is calling on you. He's calling on me to do what? To rise up and do intercession. To intercede for them. He said, confess your fault one to another and pray for one another. Pray for one another. This is an instruction by God to you and to me. Pray for one another. Intercession is also standing in the gap. It is a mediation. That is, you stand in the gap between you and a group of people. Intercession involves standing between God and people as a mediator, pleading for mercy or intervention, especially to prevent judgment. If you read through the Old Testament, you will see that judges or a group of people will rise up and begin to intercede for the nations of Israel, that deliverance will come, that God will show mercy. So it involves standing between God and the people as a mediator. That's what Jesus did. He stood between us and God and pulled us out of sin and gave us his own righteousness. He stood in the gap, and he's calling you and calling me to do the same in prayers for our friends. Ezekiel 22:30, he said, I sought for a man among them that should make up the head and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none. Isaiah 59 verse 16, he said, and he saw that there was no man and wondered that there was no intercessor. Therefore his arms brought salvation unto men, and his righteousness, it sustained him. He said, and he saw that there was no man. So it is shocking to God that amongst us he will not find a man. And he saw that there was no man, and he wondered that there was no intercessors. It was something that was baffling to God, that he could not find an intercessor. Because your Christian walk with God, first of all, your first primary responsibility as a Christian is what? Intercession. And he saw that there was no man, and he wondered that there was no intercessor. Therefore his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness, it sustained him.